Afternoon everybody. I welcome you all to this another edition of Clad exam preparation. We were covering exam 4 and we were up to question 35. So I'm quickly scrolling on to question number 35 and we will start today's preparation from that question only. So question 35. Why is LabVIEW a data flow programming language? Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is option B. The flow of data through nodes on the block diagram determines execution. Option A, it uses icons instead of text to create applications. So this is not the correct choice because other programming languages such as MATLAB, they also use icons to do the programming in Simulink environment, and other programming languages such as VB.NET and C#, they also use icons. So this does not mean that it is a data flow programming language. And option C, it does not have a goto function, so that also does not signify that it is a data flow programming language. The memory location in which data is stored changes each iteration. So this is also not the correct choice. It does not show that a particular programming language is a data flow programming language or not. The only thing which shows that it is a data flow programming language is that the flow of data through the nodes on the block diagram determines the execution. This means that as soon as the data is available on a particular node, the node will execute. This also means that if there are multiple nodes in parallel, all will be executing parallelly if the data is available on the node, on all the nodes simultaneously. So this particular option B is the correct option. Next question. If the value in A is 2 and B is 128, what value does the result indicator display after the VI executes? Write down your answers. So A is U8, B is U8. A is 2, B is 128. Multiplication of A into B means 1 into 120, 2 into 128. Write down your answers. This one is a tricky question. So you have to see the range of U8. The range of U8 is 0 to 255. So when you multiply 2 with 128, it gives 256. Now it exceeds the range by 1. So the range would be rolled back and the answer would be 0. So the correct answer for this is option B, 0. Next question. What VI is typically used to determine an error cluster wire and to display any error message? Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is simple error handler. Merge errors is simply to combine two or more errors. So this does not show the error. One button dialog, two button dialog and generate front panel activity, they are the part of making graphical user interface. They don't have to deal with the error handling. Correct answer is this, simple error handler. Next question. Which of the following methods will create an XY graph with two plots? Write down your answers. So first option, create a single cluster from two arrays of x values and two arrays of y values in xy pattern. So this option will not work because in xy graph the input is a array of clusters. Then the second option, bundle the xy array pairs together into two clusters and then create an array of these two clusters. This option is correct. This will work. Option C, bundle the xy array pairs together into two clusters and create a cluster of these two clusters. Again, this will not work. Create a single array of each of the x arrays and y arrays in xy pattern. This option will again not work. So let me show you the correct program according to option B. So this is question 38 and I have made a program for this. So I have combined x, this is suppose this is x and this is y. So these are combined together to form a cluster. This is cluster 1, suppose this is data 1, and then again this is second x value and second y value. These are to combine together to form another cluster. Now this is bundle, this is also bundle, and this one is build array. So I am bundling the two, I am creating a array, building array of the two clusters, and then I am giving it to the xy graph. So this will over here will be a array of clusters, which is the requirement of the xy graph. So now two plots will be plotted simultaneously. So see, one plot is of color white and other plot is of color red. So option B, which says that bundle the xy array pairs together into two clusters and then create an array of these two clusters. So I have done the same thing, bundle the two plots into one cluster and then another cluster, then I do the building the array of these two clusters and then giving it to xy graph. So this option verifies to be correct. Next question. While the VI executes, the user presses and then releases Boolean control with switch until release mechanical action. Assuming that the starting value of Boolean control is false, what value does the result indicator display after the execution? So this is Boolean control and this is switch until released function. So we are using it in the value change event, and this value change event is inside a while loop which is wired to be continue if true, and we have to find out what is the result. So write down your answers. So result may be 0, 1, 2 or 3. Write down your answers. So in the execution of this particular VI, you have to see that there is a value change event, and whenever that value change event happens, this particular increment of the number happens. So over here the value change event is switch until released. So switch action happens to change the value twice. So when you are switching it, means when you are pressing it down, this is a value change event from low value to high value. Until it is pressed, the value remains constant as a high value, and afterwards when it is released, then the value goes from high value to low value. So this is another change in value. So 2 times there is change in value, and that's why 2 times, this will increment and the result will be 2, and afterwards when it is incrementing 2 times, the loop will also stop. I have made a VI similar to this and I will show you the execution of this. So this is the current result, which will show first when I press it, it will show 1, and when I release it, it will show 2. Afterwards the loop will be stopped when 2 times have been incremented, then the result will show it to be 2. So let me run this. Let's highlight the execution as well. So I have not pressed it up till now. OK button I have not pressed. So when I am going to press this button, I have pressed this button and I have kept it down. I have still pressed the mouse button. So the current result has incremented to 1. That means value change event has happened because the value has gone from low to high. It is the mechanical action of this OK button is switch until pressed, switch until released. So I have pressed it and it is on the high value. 1 increment has happened, value changes once, then I release it. When I release it, another value change, increment is there is another increment, value has shifted to 2, result has shifted to 2, and then the loop has stopped. So in this way this particular program works, and the correct option for this is 2. C option is correct. Next question. Which of the following is the best method to update an indicator on the front panel? Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is wired directly to the indicator terminal. So we are shifting to the next exam. Exam 5. Question 1. How would you turn off the debugging capabilities of a VI? Write down your answers. So if I have made a VI, how I am going to turn off the debugging capabilities? So what are the debugging capabilities? So debugging capabilities are this thing. This one, pause, highlight execution, probe values, putting up the probes, retain wire values, step execution, all of this. So how I can disable them? So it is through VI properties and then going to the execution and removing this allow debugging. When I do this, so all of these things are gone. So the correct option for this is select VI properties and deselect allow debugging from the execution submenu. So option C is correct. Next question. What is an advantage of using for loop over while loops when working with arrays? Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is a for loop can tell LabVIEW ahead of time how many elements to allocate it in output array. Because we have wired the count terminal in the for loop, so whatever be the count terminal value, the same would be the number of elements in the output array, because auto indexing is enabled by default in for loop. So this is the advantage of using for loop when we are working with arrays. Next question. Clusters provide a user with which of the following benefits? Write down your answers. So clusters is a big advantage when we are going to group data types of different mixed data types. So first choice is this clusters group elements of mixed data types. Then the next choice is clusters reduce wire clutter on the block diagram by bundling data elements together. So the correct answer is A and C. So option E is the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following only plots data in evenly distributed intervals along the x-axis? Write down your answers. Correct answer is waveform graph and waveform chart. They are plotting only the evenly distributed data on the x-axis. They are not used for unevenly distributed data on the x-axis. So the correct answer is A and B, means option D is correct. Next question. The function of a cluster is 2. Write down your answers. So the correct answer for this is D, option D, allow grouping of mixed data types into logical structures. Next question. Which chart update mode compares old and new data separated by moving vertical line similar to an EKG reading? Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is sweep chart. Next question. What is the result in the sub array after the following code has executed? Write down your answers for this question. So you have got a for loop, then you are incrementing the iteration, multiplying it with 2 and indexing it on the auto index tunnel, and then you are taking the array subset. So array subset index is 2 and length is 3. So first we have to calculate what are the elements over here in the auto index loop. Those will go to the array subset. Write down your answers. So how this calculation will happen? This calculation will happen like this. First the element is 1, 0 is incremented by 1, so the element is 1, 2 into 1 gives 2, then the element is 2, 2 into 2 gives 4, then the element is 3 which will multiplied by 2 give 6, then the element is 4 that will give as 8, and then the element is 5 which will be given as 10. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, these would be the elements over here, and then you are going to index it 2 and 3, 2 index and 3 length. So 2, 6 would be neglected. Yes, 2 and 4 would be neglected, and the remaining elements 6, 8, 10 would be taken out and given in the sub array. So the correct answer is 6, 8, 10. Let's run this program. I have made this program. So this is the same program over here, and I would run it in slow motion so that you can see how the things are working. So first element 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, then 10, then you got the result 6, 8, 10. So the correct answer is this choice C, 6, 8, 10. What are the results in maximum value and maximum indexes respectively after the following code has executed? What is the code? The code is this one. We have to find the maximum value and the maximum index. Write down your answers. So mind it that the indexing in LabVIEW arrays begins from 0. So you have to find out which is the maximum value. Maximum value is 7, and what is its index? 0, 1, 2, 3. So the index is 3 and the maximum value is 7. So maximum value over here is 7 and the maximum index is 3. So the option is A. Correct option is A, 7 and 3. Next question. Which of the graphs below matches the output in the waveform graph indicator after the following code has executed? So see this code and try to comprehend how this is working. So there is a for loop which is which has the count terminal put to be 5, and then you have this addition of with the shift registers with the iteration terminal, and then this value is compared and given to the boolean, and then indexing, and then index array and the result. So many things in this particular program you have to neglect, just like this thing. This you don't have to take care. This has nothing to do with the result over here, not this result but over here, because this is the target waveform graph. This you have to find out what elements would be plotted here. So you don't have to take care about this thing, you don't have to bother about this thing, and also you don't have to bother about these things also. So 5 is the input which is added with 0, then shifted back, then next input is 5 added to 1, 6, then shifted back, 6 plus 2 is 8, shifted back, 8 plus 3 is 11, shifted back, 11 plus 4 is 15. So these are the elements which are indexed over here, and same would be the waveform graph. So let me show you the calculation for this. So this is the calculation. So this is the calculation: 0 plus 5, 1 plus 6, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 8, 4 plus 11. So we have the values 5, 6, 8, 11, 15 which are accumulated in the tunnel, and these are the values which are going to be plotted. So let's see the results over here in the graph. So first is this 5, 6, 8, 11 and 15. 5, 6, 8, 11 and 15, and the difference between all of these is 1. So this option seems to be correct. Then option B, it's starting from 4, so we are not having this in our table, so this option is not correct, and it is going up to 14, so options are not correct, so this is wrong option. Then we have C, it is starting from 6, again not correct, 6, 7, maybe 9, 12 and 16, not correct. And then D option, 5, maybe 6, maybe 8, maybe 11, 15 and 20, not correct. So correct option is A. So I have made this Vi, and it is the same Vi over here, and I will plot it. I am running it, and I have used the cursor to show the various values. So first value is 5, then next value is 6, next value is 8, then 11, then 16. These are the same values which we have calculated over here. 5, 6, let me show it once again. 5, 6, 5, 6, 8, 11 and 15. 5, 6, 8, 11 and 15. So our option A is correct, this option. Next question. What will happen when the following code executes? Write down your answers. So in this we have a auto indexed while loop with a array, and elements are 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are to be subtracted from 5, and the result is going to be x minus y, and this is stop button connected to the conditional terminal of the while loop. So write down your answers. So this is not a difficult question, rather a simple question if you know how to judge the working of while loop. The correct answer for this is choice A. The loop will continue iterating until the user presses the stop button. So it will continue iterating, it will not stop, because the user, whenever the user will press the stop button, only then the loop will stop. There is nothing else wired to the loop condition to stop it. Next question. Which of the following graphs matches the results in array graph after the following code has executed? Write down your answers. These are the values: 8, 1, 5, 4, 6. Increment is 2.5, starting value is 10 on the x-axis. These are on the x-axis, this is on the y-axis. So let's see the graph. We have to see the values are starting from 10 on the x-axis. So this may be the graph A. Values are starting from 10, graph B 10, graph C 0, and graph D 10. So this C is not the correct option because values are not starting from 10. Now we have to see the increment. Increment is 2.5. So over here the increment is 2, so this is not the correct option. In B, the increment is 1, not the correct option. In D, the values are plotted midway also. This is the value plotted at this particular point, 12.5. First value is at 10. The next value 12.5, next value 15, next value 17.5, and next value is at 20. So this option, because of this increment, seems to be correct. Starting from 10, increment 2.5. And let's now confirm the values. 8, 1, 5, 4, 6. Sorry, this one 8, so 8, 0, this is 0, so this is not correct. C is not correct. 8, 1, sorry, this B is seems to be correct because the increment is 2.5. 8, 1, 5, 4 and 6. So this B option seems to be correct because although the increment is 1, but plotting is in 2.5. So this option B seems to be correct, and in D option, although the plotting is 2.5, but the value over here is 0. So 0 is none of the values in the given array. Array's values are 8, 1, 5, 4, 6. So the correct option 8, 1, 5, 4, 6 with the increment of 2.5 and plotting from 10. So option B is the correct option. Next question. Which answer matches the correct labels with their corresponding legend palette on the following front label? So write down your answers. So this one, A is the plot legend, C is the scale legend, B is the graph palette, and D is the cursor legend. So we have to find out the correct options. A is the plot legend, so B and C, B, C and D. A is the plot legend, that is correct. Then B B is the graph palette. So B option, we are focusing on B option now. Now C is the scale legend, correct. D is the cursor legend, correct. So option B, this is the correct option. Next question, the DAC assistant can perform all of the following operations except. Write down your answers. So it can perform the analog input, digital input, frequency measurement, but DAC assistant is not useful for performing arbitrary waveform generation. So this is not applicable to DAC assistant. Next question, comment should be added to the block diagram. So the correct answer is to describe unfamiliar functions. Next question, the index array function shown below. So the correct answer for this is returns a single element or sub array of n dimensional array starting at the specified index. Next question, the main disadvantage of using VI architecture shown below is. So this is a while loop in which there are two case structures, and in the first case structure action 1 code is being executed, and in the second case structure action 2 code has been executed. So what is the disadvantage of this particular VI architecture? Mind it, this is a general VI architecture with the startup stage, the action stage or the medium stage, and then a shutdown stage. So the options are, there is no way of shutting down the VI during execution. So this is false because there is always a stop button. You can press the stop button and stop the while loop. So it will go on to the shutdown stage. So there is nothing to stop from execution. There is a way. So option A is not correct. Then option B, you cannot use wires to pass data between case structures. This is also not the correct option. I have a VI in which I have wired the case structures and it is working just fine. So this is question 16. In this, this is not the correct option. Wires can be done and there will be no problem. Then the next option, the block diagram can become very large and hard to read, edit and debug. So this might be the option, because the code over here will be complicated, the code over here will be complicated, then there will be a code relating to the startup VI and the code relating to the shutdown VI. So this might be the problem with this type of VI architecture. There is no other problem. So the correct answer is C. So this is the last question we are covering today, question 17. A while loop stops iterating when? Write down your answers. Option A, a true value is present at the conditional terminal and the conditional terminal is continue if true. a false value is present at the conditional terminal and the conditional terminal is stop if true, both A and B, and none of the above. Write down your answers. The correct answer for this is option D, none of the above. So this was the last question for today. Now I am waiting here for 2 minutes, and if you have any queries, you can ask your queries. Okay, thank you so much for attending this session. I hope you have liked this session.